Afternoon, everybody. My name is Corporal Shepard. I'll be giving today's block of instruction. So today's task is going to be challenge persons entering your area. So it's going to be 071 Charlie Oscar Mike 0801. Before we begin the instruction, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over a quick risk assessment. So today we're going to be in a classroom environment. So there's not going to be that, the average hazards we would have in a field environment or outdoors in general. So what you do need to be cognizant of are like low wires, low bags around your area. You don't want to trip and fall over them. You don't want to hurt yourself during this period of instruction. So we're going to be moving those out of the way as best as possible. We're also going to be cognizant of the weather, right? So most of us are in Kansas or the surrounding area. The weather changes on a dime. So tornadoes are always a possibility. In case of a tornado, what you're going to do is you're going to find a room around you that has no windows in it. So if you can find a bathroom or like a broom closet, something like that with no windows in it, that would be preferred. Other than that, just be cognizant of changing weather. Fires. If you find yourself in a fire, what you're going to do is you're going to find the fastest and safest route outside of the building. So before you open up a door, you want to make sure that the door is not hot, the handle is not hot. Reason being is because if it's hot, if the handle is usually hot, it means there's a fire on the other side of the door. So you don't want to further endanger yourself more than you already are. So you would exit the building, gather in the parking lot or outside, probably a distance away from the building. You get accountability, send it up to higher so everybody's tracking. Active shooters. If you find yourself in an active shooter situation, what you're going to do is you're going to run, hide, and then fight. What I mean by that is you're going to get away from the shooter, find a safe location, try to barricade yourself in. But if your location is compromised by the shooter, what you're going to do is you're going to try to set up a hasty ambush, right? You're going to fight back because we're in the Army and we don't accept defeat. All right, that concludes my draw. What we're going to do now is we're going to go over a quick PCC and PCI. So for today's block of instruction, what I need is for everybody to get out their water source, pen, paper, ID tags, and ID cards. And I'm going to go through every individual person and we're going to make sure you have all those items. Okay, the PCI is conducted. All right, we're going to now begin the block of instruction. So as I stated in the beginning, my name is Corporal Shepard. I'll be instructing this task. Today's task is going to be challenging persons in your area. 071 Charlie Oscar Mike 0801. The classification of this instruction is unclassified. For disclosure, this training product has been reviewed by the training developers in coordination with the G2 Fort Benning, Georgia 31905 Foreign Disclosure Officer. This training product can be used to instruct international military students from all approved countries without restrictions. Conditions: you are a member of the squad or team providing security for the unit in a field environment. You have your assigned weapon, individual protective equipment, and the current challenge and password. An unknown person or persons is approaching your area. Some iterations of this task should be performed in MOP 4. Okay, so since we're in a classroom environment, we're not going to have any weapons or any MOP 4 gear on us. Standards: detect and challenge all approaching personnel, prevent compromise of password, allow personnel positively identified as friendly to pass, and disarm, detain, and report personnel not positively identified. There are no special conditions. Safety risk is low, and again, we will not be using any MOP 4. Okay, performance steps. Detect all personnel entering your area. Challenge an individual that enters your area. So to reiterate, it's you're gonna be in your location, most likely in the prone position with your gun up, right? You're gonna be scanning your sector of fire, and what this means is basically whenever you see somebody that you can't immediately identify, you're gonna challenge them. So what that means is you're gonna cover the individual with your weapon without disclosing your position. So you're gonna point your weapon directly at them without revealing your body in any ways that will render you at risk for being injured. You will command the individual to halt before they are close enough to pose a threat. Halt in itself is the command, so you're gonna say with a stern voice, halt. Note: commands and questions must be loud enough to be heard by the individual, but not loud enough so that others outside the immediate area can hear. Commands should be repeated as necessary. You're gonna ask who is there, just loud enough for the individual to hear. So who is there in itself is the command. So you would say, who is there? Note, the individual shall reply with an answer that best describes them. For example, Sergeant Jones. Really simple and really concise. Order the individual to advance to be recognized. Advance to be recognized is the command. Continue to keep individual covered without exposing yourself. Order the individual to halt when they are within 2 to 3 meters from your position. Note, the individual should be halted at a location that provides protection to you and prevents them from escaping if they are deemed unfriendly. Issue the challenge in a low voice. The challenge should only be heard by the individual challenged to prevent others from overhearing. You may also ask the individual questions that only a friendly person will be able to answer correctly. So what this means basically is if you if you tell them the challenge, which is like an assigned word for the day, which is meant to be met with the password. So for example, we're going to use the word donuts today for the challenge, and the password is going to be rainbows, right? So if I say donuts to the person that's approaching the location and they don't reply with rainbows, then they failed the challenge of password. If they reply with rainbows, but for some reason I deem them still suspicious, or I'm using a gut feeling and I think that they're not who they claim to be, I can ask them further questions. Like, for example, I could ask them, who's the sergeant major of this operation? Stuff like that. Simple questions like chain of command that they should know if they're who they're claiming to be. Determine if the individual is friendly based upon their return of a correct password and your own situational awareness. Allow the individual to pass if the individual returns the correct password and you are convinced the individual is friendly. Detain an individual if they return an incorrect password or they cannot be positively identified as friendly. Direct the individual to disarm, notify your chain of command, and await instruction from command. All right, the next area of instruction is going to be challenging a group that enters your area. Note, the procedure and precautions are similar to those for challenging a single person. You're going to cover the group with your weapon without disclosing your position. Order the group to halt before they are close enough to pose a threat to you. Command, who is there, just loud enough to be heard by the group. Wait for a reply from the group. Note, reply should clearly identify the group. For example, friendly patrol. Order the leader of the group to advance to be recognized. Continue to keep group leader covered without exposing yourself. Order the group leader to halt when the individual is within 2 to 3 meters from your position. Note, the group leader should be halted at a location that provides protection to you and prevents the leader from escaping if they are deemed unfriendly. Issue the challenge to only the group leader. That part right there I think is really important because you want to make sure that only the group leader can hear. Reason being is because if the group leader is escorting other personnel that aren't part of our organization, you don't want them to overhear the challenge of password, and then now they have access to our location and they know how to get through. Note, you may also ask questions that only a friendly person should be able to answer correctly. Determine if the group leader is friendly based upon the return of a correct password and your own situational awareness. Direct the group leader to remain with you to assist identifying group members and to determine if he or she is friendly. Direct the group leader to vouch for or positively identify each member of his group as they pass through your flank. The reason being is because you want to make sure no one slipped into the group to try to sneak by, right? Because you don't know who's supposed to be in the group and who's not. So you need to make sure that every person that's in the group is supposed to be there. Detain any individual in the group not recognized by the group leader by disarming them and having them wait until your chain of command provides additional instruction. Detain the group leader if not positively identified as friendly. Direct the individual to disarm, direct him or her to inform the group to wait, notify the chain of command, and await instruction from the chain of command. Okay, so today, during your practice running your evaluations, the performance measures you need to meet are as follows. Detect all personnel entering your area, challenge all individuals that enter your area, and challenge all groups to enter your area. This will be reiterated later on the road, but failures to complete any of these measures will result in an automatic no-go in the test, right? So at this time, are there any questions? No questions? Okay. Now I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to practice on your own before we begin the actual assessment. Simulated 5 minutes is over. Okay, so the practice run is over. I will now be going over the tasking conditions and standards one more time for you guys. So, as I said in the beginning of this presentation, the task for today is going to be challenging persons entering your area. 071 Charlie Oscar Mike 0801. Conditions for today. You are a member of a squad or team providing security for your unit in a field environment. You have your assigned weapon, individual protective equipment, and the current challenge and password. An unknown person or persons is approaching your area. Some iterations of this task should be performed in MOP 4. Again, we're not going to be utilizing weapons or MOP 4 at this time because we're in a classroom environment. Standards. Detect and challenge all approaching personnel, prevent compromise of password, allow personnel positively identified as friendly to pass, and disarm, detain, and report personnel not positively identified. All right. Now I'm going to reiterate the performance measures. You're going to detect all personnel entering your area, challenge all individuals that enter your area, and challenge all groups that enter your area. Again, failure to complete any of these measures will result in an automatic no-go on the test. Are there any questions? Okay, the test will now begin. All right, the test is over. All y'all passed, so there will be no need for a retest or retrain at this time. I will now be doing a quick PCC and PCI of your equipment to make sure everybody has what they came here with. So I need everybody to get out their water source, pen, paper, ID card, and ID tags, please. And I'm going to be checking every individual person to make sure you have all your equipment. All right, PCCs and PCIs are complete. I will now be going over a quick AAR. All right, during this AAR, everyone has the right to speak, and I want to encourage maximum participation. Please don't talk over each other and always be respectful of differing viewpoints. All right, what was supposed to happen today? Right, we were supposed to go over challenging persons entering our area. What happened today? Right, exactly that. What went right today? What did I do correctly in my instruction that you would like to see me continue doing? Okay, what went wrong today? Okay, what could I do better to improve training for next time? Okay. Were there any injuries or damaged equipment? No. Okay. Were all my control measures implemented effectively? Yes. Okay. So that concludes the AAR portion. At this time, I would like you guys to do a quick police call to the area, make sure that we didn't leave any trash or any equipment behind. All right, police call is complete. Are there any questions for myself at this time? No questions? Okay, this concludes my AAR, or this concludes my presentation and my class today. I request permission to close the training site.